I can't do it anymore, Ben. I just can't. The Giants can't hit. The pitching's inconsistent. And I'm going to have to drink a Negroni.
Okay, listen. As a man who had to drink a lot of Negronis for reasons that I don't fully remember, I have to tell you, yeah, that sucks. But, Matthew, it's not all negative. Even if it feels like it is, we have to dig deep. We have to think of something positive to talk about, something good to share that can all make us look forward to supporting this team who plays this game that we love both very much.
Okay, so think of something positive.
Yeah, think of something positive. You'll say one, I'll say one, and then Bob will say one.
Okay, all right. At least Roupp didn't die tonight.
There you go. Yeah, that's the bright side. The silver lining.
Thank you.
That's good.
Your turn now. You say something positive.
Okay. Oh, I got it. I got it. Hayden Birdsong only walked 5 in 3 innings pitched tonight in Sacramento. And he didn't take the loss because the River Cats rallied.
Maybe the Giants could do that someday.
No, I don't think so. Oh, wait. No, we're supposed to be positive. Bob, you go.
That's a tasty cocktail. Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the losses hurt, but the cocktails help. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 320 of Giant Cocktails. Ben, Brandon Crawford had 320 plate appearances in 2023, his last season as a San Francisco Giant.
That's what you okay, we just did the whole positive thing and that's what we're starting off with?
This is where we're at, man. You think I'm going to do some positive stuff? Like, oh, yeah, Willie Mays hit 320. No.
Well, did he?
I don't think so, because I would have probably put that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wouldn't you have chosen that? You wouldn't have chosen. You would have chosen that. Yeah. I mean, 2021, Matthew, was one of the greatest seasons of baseball that any team ever played, and a huge reason why the San Francisco Giants were so good that year was because Brandon Crawford had a career year at really what was the twilight of his career. And I remember being so thankful that I got to experience that while paying such close attention because of this show. And, yeah, so you know what? That's what's positive, Matthew. We still have all the happy memories.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
Was that banter?
You were bantering. I was just like, he's wah, 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 wah. I don't even know.
I was saying good things about Brandon Crawford.
Oh, yeah.
I was waxing eloquent about the past.
Well, that's all we got, Ben. That's all we got.
Okay. You're down. Every season, folks, it happens to Matthew. Every season, Matthew hits this low, and suddenly I have to be the positive one. Strangely, I think we're there. Like, it feels a month too late, honestly. But we're there. So buckle in, folks, because I'm the happy one today.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for keeping us on track. Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail called Snoopy. And I chose it because I like the name, to be honest. And I live in Sonoma County where Charles Schultz lived, and Snoopy is pretty much everywhere you look. And so it just felt right to finally do a Snoopy cocktail. I'll tell you more about it at the end of the episode.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail known as the Rattlesnake. Why? Because I found it and it sounded interesting. And what's in a rattlesnake? Well, you'll find out at the end of the episode.
All right. Well, I would have saved it for a Diamondbacks series, but, why not? Why not a rattlesnake now?
Because I had the ingredients and it was using the booze I wanted to use.
Okay. Fair enough. Ben, today is Wednesday, August 20th, as we record this podcast. The Giants are currently 1-2 in a 4-game series against the vaunted Padres. Brings their overall record to 61-66, 5 games under 500, which is a season high in futility, and I don't think we're seeing homeostasis, Ben.
I don't think this team even knows what homeostasis is. I think that well, remember how I said, Matthew, that they had to just punch right through the surface tension of homeostasis?
Yes,
they took that to heart.
They did, and
are plummeting like a rock to the bottom of the ocean. I'm pining for the good old days of homeostasis, quite frankly.
I will be super excited if we end the season in homeostasis, and not because you'll have to drink a Negroni.
No. Well, that's funny because it's like I have to drink a Negroni if the Giants finish at homeostasis, is that right? No, you have to drink a Negroni. I have to drink a Negroni if they're under 5. I can't remember what the bet was.
I can't either, but I just feel like both of us are going to be drinking Negronis. I think
that's pretty true. I think that's definitely true. But what I find ironic about that is that you said, "Hey, let's create a bet so that and then we can keep the listeners up to date on how the bet is going."
And we can't even remember what the bet was.
And we can't even remember what the bet was.
It's probably because we decided on that bet late in the podcast.
Yeah,
we were
well into our we were well into our cups by then. Yes, I agree. But we also do both know that the Giants are 3 games under homeostasis. That means the Giants would have to go on a 3-game winning streak just to get back to the point where only one of us has to drink a Negroni, even though we don't remember which one of us it is. And that seems very unlikely at this juncture.
It does. But hey, we had a 2-game win streak earlier this week, so,
Man, I wanted to save that joke for when we talked about game 1.
Sorry. There's not a lot to joke about, man. You got to get those jokes
fine.
early.
I'm going to use it then, too. I'm going to use it. That's called foreshadowing, folks.
All right. Well, folks, we are going to talk about the Padres series so far. We did win one, so we'll definitely talk about that. And then I think we'll dig a little bit into this Heliot Ramos defending Bob Melvin and getting crap for it from fans and media. Because I think that's what else we're going to talk about. And it's interesting.
Wow. Matthew, it's an interesting thing about the fans. This is a fan show. This is the sort of topic we should be covering more frequently.
Yeah,
quite frankly.
We represent the fans, and we're mad at Heliot Ramos, but I didn't get that memo.
Apparently we all read SF Gate and listen to KNBR,
or all the other media outlets do, and then decided to jump on that bandwagon.
Did they jump on the bandwagon?
Some did.
I mean, I know KNBR did.
Yeah,
I know,
SI
and I'm not
did
surprised
too.
about that. And I'm not surprised that SF Gate started this whole thing. I mean, they're not high on my reading list. Let me put it that way. But yeah, we are going to talk about that.
All right, great. But first, some tidbits. Ben,
Yes.
the Padres committed child abuse.
I know, and I loved it. No, wait, should I not say that?
You should not say that.
Oh, it was bad. Boo!
That's what all the Padres fans did. They booed the security guy who tackled the young child that ran out onto the field.
Yeah. Yes, I did see that. Because, John Boy Media, they got us covered. They don't show the people running around on the field on TV.
No, they kept showing the press box every time it happened. And
on one of the broadcasts, they showed the Padres pitcher. And the Padres pitcher was watching the child, as it turns out, run around on the field. And then, the child was viciously tackled after he'd already been caught, by the way. So one security guard caught the kid, and the kid had sort of given up. Then a security guard T-bones him from behind, just drops a shoulder into him. I think this was like a 40-year-old man laying out this 12-year-old kid from behind while the kid was completely giving himself up. So this wasn't the most honorable moment. But my favorite thing about this whole story, Matthew, was it was the security guards, the elite company. In game 1 of the series, the game was delayed because the grounds crew had forgotten to close the gates.
I remember this.
And there was an elite security guard there.
Who decided it wasn't his job to close the gate.
Yeah. And I think he was literally on his radio being like, can I close the gate? And then I think he was trying to figure out, will I be able to close the gate? Because, it looked pretty complicated by the confused look on his face. But anyway, this was a man who felt not allowed to close a gate so that, 80,000, 100,000 people could get on with their entertainment. And but yet they feel perfectly at ease drilling a 12 or 13-year-old kid into the ground. That all being said, middle schoolers just deserve it. So no harm, no foul, right?
Do you think that kid's getting celebrated at school though, right?
Oh yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. They're supposed to get arrested and fined. I don't know what happens in those scenarios with a minor, but he could have a record now.
Yeah.
It's sealed, of course, but he's got a rap sheet.
Okay, well, maybe one other tidbit, Ben. Let's just combine them. Former Giants Mike Yastrzemski and Tyler Rogers are having interesting post-Giant careers.
Yeah.
Yaz has hit 5 home runs since August 2nd. He early on, he stole a home run away in Fenway. He's quickly endearing himself to the Royals, who are now back in the wild card chase, only a couple of games out.
Yeah, I saw him do the after the game interview with the Kansas City on a little blurb this morning. So yeah, no, they like Yaz a lot there in Kansas City. Yaz might be getting himself a contract for next year. Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, fans, listeners in another universe, we were going to do an intro about how the Giants' resurgence was driven by the offensive Mike Yastrzemski, but Matthew vetoed it
because for reasons. Anyway,
he thinks you guys don't get it. He thinks it's too complicated.
Sometimes Ben's humor goes beyond, I think, what most of us would consider humor. So, I try to save him from that. All right. Anyway, Ben.
But you didn't tell him about Tyler. The Mets are 2-7 in Tyler Rogers' appearances.
And not really his fault? Just coincidence? Just
total coincidence. We didn't look any deeper than that. It could be that he's on the back end of the bad pen side of the bullpen, or it could be the rest of the bullpen just really sucks.
I think that's probably the case. Yeah. All right, Ben. It's probably time to talk about the Giants. Hey, we won. Robbie Ray win day. Let's move on.
No. Matthew, the Giants extended their winning streak to 2 games.
To 2 games, you say?
In 2 games.
Oh, my goodness.
Their streak was an actual streak. They won 2 games in a row.
When you put 1 and a 1 together, you get consecutive, and it's a streak.
That is literally the definition of a streak.
I mean, It's a short streak. the shortest streak possible.
You're a short streak.
This is true.
I don't even know what that means, but
Robbie Ray pitched fantastic until he didn't, but it was just enough to get the win.
It was just enough in the most beautiful way, in fact.
Our first inning, it was great. I was on the treadmill watching the first inning and just like launching balls all over the place.
Yeah.
Wilmer capping it off with a 2-run home run. Like I was thinking, wow, we're going to score a lot of runs today.
Yeah, I don't know what the Padres are doing with this whole Nestor Cortez thing, but it looks like a really bad idea to me. And the fact that he has started 2 games in a row against the Giants is probably really bad. Now, the Padres probably arranged it that way on purpose. So,
of course, because the Giants can't hit left-handers. So that's
correct.
That's why they had him starting.
Correct. Now, if the Padres go and release him immediately, then I'll say that was really smart. If they hang on to him and keep using him in that rotation, I don't know that that's going to go well for them. But no. Yeah, I mean, 3 home runs in an inning.
Yeah, well, and the Giants won 4-3, saved by a fan, or saved by Heliot Ramos. Acting job of the year by Heliot Ramos.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Because Heliot dropped that ball. I mean,
granted, the hands, arms were extended over his head. You know, it's not a normal fly ball by any means.
No, it's not a normal fly ball.
The ball was in his glove.
Yes, it was in his glove, and then it squirted out. And I don't know that it squirted, because again, it landed in his glove after it got past the people's hands.
Right.
And then it squirted out of his glove as he crashed into the wall.
And we have watched enough Heliot Ramos play defense this year that we know that was a very plausible outcome without a fan reaching over the edge.
That was a plausible outcome without him jumping at the wall. So having the ball come out of his glove there, but I guess the rules as written, Matthew, which is a thing we say in Dungeons and Dragons, by the way, a lot to mean that's a rule you shouldn't follow. Anytime you start off with the rules as written, say, you generally follow it up with but that's dumb. But the rules as written, he was obstructed. Though that Padres fan who also boxed out that nice Giants fan quite harshly and rudely.
Stole his home run ball away from him.
Well, there was a woman in there, Matthew. You may not have seen her because the Padre fan was trampling all over her. That monster, as he did that, also obstructed Heliot's view.
So that is fan interference. Yes.
Correct. And so even though Heliot didn't touch any of them, and none of them touched him, and none of them touched the ball until after it came out of his glove, it was still interference. I agree with the wise judges in New York City. And I agree with that outcome, and I'm especially pleased that it happened to the Padres and their fans, and I'm especially pleased that it ended up being the difference in the game. But it really felt like
we got to win. I was feeling good. We let off the series. We're like, hey, maybe this is the Giants just needed to go on the road. That's all we needed is get a little road mojo going. And then it's really hard to get a streak, though, when you have Wei Teng as your next pitcher.
Matthew, do you feel as though it's your fault that Wei Teng got another start?
I do. Mm-hmm. I was about to admit that I was wrong and that I would be a terrible hobo. Because apparently Buster knows way more than I about who should be starting at the major league level, and it's clearly Wei Teng.
Yeah.
But I'm also willing to say that because I said he was going to be DFA'd, that maybe that's why he sucks so bad. Maybe that's why he played, is because I ruined the cosmos there and moved some mojo around. I don't know. But
I think they just heard you say that and were like, well, we can't do that now.
Okay, that's fair.
And so then they were like, no, let him go one more game just to show those Giant Cocktails guys, especially Matthew.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Although I will say that I was right. So, I mean, Wei Teng still sucks.
Hey, Matthew, yeah. I saw a headline where a Giants coach said his stuff was better, even though he didn't pitch well.
I think that coach was Bob Melvin.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. More about him later.
Yeah, more about him later. So game 3, we had to record late tonight because we had to watch. I don't know why we do that. I don't know why we wait till the end of the games.
I don't think we needed to this game because like the other games it's been a problem for us. It has been a problem.
Yeah.
Like
things are happening while we're talking.
Yeah, and because the game is close. That was back in the days when we still had our bullpen, and now the games aren't close anymore. So I think we could have recorded through that, but we didn't. We out of respect, we waited until the game was over.
And maybe out of respect to Landon Roupp, let's just do a Roupp for Landon because.
All right.
My man Landon.
Look,
and it wasn't even like getting hit is what actually hurt him. It was the trying to avoid the ball is what hurt him. And it was a very awkward fall. And I just feel really bad for the guy because he just can't catch a break, man.
I mean, he tried to do a ballet move, Matthew, in baseball spikes on a dirt hill, and I think any ballerina could tell you that's a bad idea. And and so his spikes came down on the hill the wrong way, and looked like the old patella tendon was not in good shape.
Yeah,
they didn't put him in a case or anything like that. So, but we're not going to know anything until late tomorrow, and then after that, it's going to be like we're going to go. He's going to fly back to San Francisco and get a second opinion, and then like in a few days, we'll know.
Well, and we got 6 weeks at most left in the season. I think it's almost fair to say that Roupp has pitched his last game this year.
Oh, I agree.
I think the bright side of that is it was a knee and not a shoulder or an arm. I mean, pitchers. Will come back much better with the knee injury than a shoulder injury. So let's hope he comes back by spring training. We'll have to see.
I agree. I mean, I think the best news here would be that it's a sprain or a strain, and it's not anything serious. No surgery required.
Yeah. I mean,
and yes, shut him down. Like he's done. He's done for the season, and then let's just forget about it and go into next year full bore.
And I don't want to kick a guy when he's down, but he wasn't exactly pitching well when he got hit. So
no
struggled. So that's a little concerning, but maybe now a little, it's been, he's pitched a lot of innings, his most as a professional. Maybe he just needs to shut it down.
And he was also coming off of the IL, so under his second start. So at this point, who cares? Right?
Who cares?
Because this injury supersedes all of that. So
yeah. The other thing that kind of struck me is we scored 4 runs in the first inning of game 1. And then 2 runs total in the next 26 innings. I don't know much more we can say about the Giants' offense or lack thereof, but it's downright embarrassing. I know we're missing Matt Chapman, but we've got, Devers got robbed of a home run tonight by Tatis, but it's not enough. There's just not enough offense, and it's just over and over and over again, and it's just inexplicable.
Right. Well, we did look at the stats offline a couple days ago, Matthew, and we realized that basically the Giants' top players are playing like everybody else's mid-level players, and their mid-level players are playing like everybody else's bottom-level players, and their low-end players are playing like everybody's guys who aren't on the team.
AAA players.
Yeah. So, the Giants are just bad. Everybody's underperforming. Everybody is underperforming. So even those guys who are having quote-unquote seasons, they're underperforming. And maybe they're not underperforming for themselves, but when you just compare the Giants' best hitters to the best hitters on most other teams, the Giants are missing that upper tier. They just don't have anybody in that tier, even though they have guys who should be Adonis, Devers, et cetera, et cetera. All right, Matthew, there's one more game in this series.
Yeah, game 4, Giants lose.
I have a report. Yes, correct. We got an early report for how that game is going to go. It is being started by Justin Verlander. He's going to give up 5 in 4 innings pitched.
Okay.
And why? Well, because he had his good start last time, And so it's kind of oscillating back and forth. That kind of seems to be how he's doing. So
yeah, Ben was looking up the stats to try and set this joke up, and I was surprised. He's got 11 starts where he's given up 2 runs or fewer. Is that
Correct.
what you said?
Yes.
Out of 21 starts,
yeah,
11.
The majority of Justin Verlander's starts, he has allowed 2 runs or less. And folks, that's not earned runs, that's runs. So the Giants have only allowed, or Justin Verlander has only allowed 2 runs or less in 11 of his starts. The other 10, though, not good. Not good. Some of them are okay. But most of them are like, oh, he gave up only 3 or 4, but he did that in 3 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings. But he seems to be like a 50-50, like good start, mediocre to bad start.
So you're saying that against the Padres, Verlander's due for a bad start?
Well, no, I'm just saying that his last start was good, and so he's going to oscillate back to the bad. It doesn't matter who he's pitching against.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, well, that wraps up the Padres series. I was so glad that we were able to recap that wonderful 3 games that we watched. Let's talk a little Heliot Ramos, Ben.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't see the original quote.
Oh.
But all of a sudden I'm seeing in social media and everything, people just bashing on Ramos. And I was a little like, what? Like, what's Ramos talking crap about the fans? Like, it didn't seem to line up for me. And sure enough, when you kind of look into it, Ramos was quoted in the San Francisco Chronicle about defending Bob Melvin and his and then the San Francisco Gate took that quote from the Chronicle and then twisted it around. Well, they used the same quote, but then in their headlines, they characterized his quote as bashing the fans. And first of all, just a clickbaity title, and it worked.
Yeah. So here, let me give you the quote. Well, first of all, the headline to SF Gate, a publication, if you want to call it that. SF Giants player bashes fans for being, quote, against us, end quote, after historic losing skid. So the headline editorializes that the Giants player is bashing fans, but then they say he literally said that somebody is against us. So he used those exact words. This headline says.
Also implied that he was talking about it in regards to their losing streak.
Yes, after historic losing skid. So that's the headline. SF Giants player bashes fans for being against us after historic losing skid. Against us is in quotes. The quote that was given to the Chronicle, which was then borrowed by, who wrote this? Gabe Fernandez from the SF Gate. The quote, as quoted by Fernandez, by the Chronicle, from Ramos, and now said by me, was, outside people don't know anything. That's the type of person he is. That doesn't mean he's not a great manager. When we were winning, everybody was on our side. Now it's like all the fans are against us. And all that. I don't get it. We're here and we know what's going on. We know what we're feeling. We know what we're working for. But fans are going to be fans. We can't do nothing about it. And he said that in response to a question from Scott Osler of the Chronicle, where the question, as paraphrased by Gabe Fernandez, was that fans are demanding to see more fire from the manager in the dugout. And so that is the question that Ramos was responding to. And so, to me, that it could imply a lot of things. What that implies to me is that Melvin is being fiery behind closed doors. And that's what the fans don't see. They're not seeing a fiery Melvin in the dugout. And fans, if you think you need a fiery Melvin in the dugout, I don't know what you think that's going to accomplish. And what managers do you ever see yelling at their players in the dugout anyway? None.
I mean, the last one was probably Billy Martin, right?
Yeah, it was probably Billy Martin. And folks, if he was doing that, you should also know that he was half in the bag. You know, every day was giant cocktails for Billy. Okay, so yeah, like I don't fans who want the manager to be more fiery in the dugout. I don't know why you want that. It's not going to accomplish anything, and certainly it's not going to accomplish anything if he's going and yelling at the umpires. Right? That's not going to accomplish anything either. Like, you can do that maybe once or twice, but after that, it becomes sort of laughable. I will say this: I find the quotes from Melvin after the game a little frustrating, because that's when fans are really looking for like answers or like insight into what they're doing. And I wish we could see a little bit more ire from him there. And we had seen that sooner. But this to me implies that Melvin is being fiery behind closed doors. But that's not what Gabe Fernandez chose to point out. What Gabe Fernandez chose to point out was that Heliot Ramos said, now it's like all the fans are against us and all that. I don't know, Matthew. It sounds to me like you think this is a much ado about nothing.
I do. I feel like it's a scapegoat kind of time. It's, fans are looking at who's to blame. Publications and media outlets are looking for engagement in a team that's really bad. So they're pulling up all of this kind of vitriol to try and gauge fans and cause them to go to their websites and click on their links and look at their social media posts. And so I don't think that this, I think we know enough about Heliot Ramos to know that he's a pretty good guy. And I've never felt that Heliot Ramos didn't like the fans.
Right.
And so it just felt like this was something that was contrived and made up. And really, they're struggling and they're looking for answers. But I don't think for a minute that Heliot Ramos is blaming the fans.
Right. I agree. I mean, first of all, SF Gate is a rag that wishes they were a tabloid. Like, this is a bottom of the barrel publication. Like, I don't take them seriously. Like, I just do not respect them in any way. They're like one of the last things I'm going to go read. They borrow quotes from other writers and then write about it. Like, that should tell you everything that you need to know about this rag. Like, and this headline is clearly about getting clicks. They don't give a darn about, whether it's accurate. They just want the clicks. And unfortunately, they can no longer say clinging to playoff hopes, which all of the publications hang on to for about 3 weeks too long, because they want you guys to click on them, because they know that you're not ready to give it up either. But now they know that nobody can do that, so they got to have a different way to get you to click on stuff. And let's face it, for better or for worse, most fans don't read the article, right? They just read the headline. Heck, even KNBR only reads the headline. And then those guys get up and they amplify it. Here's the thing about KNBR. I know over-the-top ranting for ranting's sake when I see it. And that's basically all KNBR does. And trust me, it's not hard. I feel like I'm an expert in this area, Matthew.
I feel like you are too. Preach, man, preach.
So, this was all a bunch of nothing about nothing. And I think, honestly, the quote was, no, Melvin is on our butts. He just doesn't do it out in public, which, if you're a manager, is the right way to do things. Hard conversations happen behind closed doors, people. They don't happen out in front of everybody. That's how good managers do it in all organizations. And I think that's what Ramos was implying. On the other hand, I do think Heliot made a few mistakes here, Matthew.
No? What's that? Outside of not knowing the infield fly rule, what mistakes has he made?
Well, see, that's part of my analysis. When you're playing bad baseball, especially when when everybody knows that the team is capable of playing better baseball, and you're frustrated, but you also know that the fans are frustrated, you have to keep in mind that one of you is giving money and one of you is taking money. And you have to sort of respect that. Like, you just should never mention the fans. Ever. Just don't do it, Heliot. Just don't do it. Don't say anything about the fans. It's just, it never goes your way. It never goes your way. Don't mention the fans. Especially when you're spiking the ball into the ground or can't remember the infield fly rule. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just you. It's not just you. I mean, Christian Koss, who we all know is trying. He's trying real hard. He made a throw yesterday that was like, if not for a great play by, I think it was, was it Devers at the first then? That ball was going about 40 rows deep into Petco, right? And it's just things like that every game. And that's why the fans are restless. We're against you because you're playing bad baseball that we know you're capable of playing better. So don't mention the fans. Just don't mention the fans.
Well, Elliot, and I will say in Elliott's defense, he's a young baseball player. He's in his second full season. He's an emerging leader. People are now coming to him for quotes and for his opinion, which frankly no one cared about in previous years. So this is new territory for him, and I'm sure he's learned a lesson about what and what not to say when talking about the team. So, but I just think it was a whole bunch of nothing.
All that said, Heliot, you can say shake your bazooms whenever you want, buddy. So, maybe, whatever. Just ignore everything I just said and just say whatever you want to say.
All right. Well, coming up next, Ben. So we got one more game against the Padres, which, we know we're going to lose because of Verlander.
Yeah, so we're going to get Verlandered. Yep.
And then we have the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh God.
Now, the Cubs they lost their first game of a 4-game series against the Brewers and then won 3 in a row. So the Milwaukee has lost 3 in a row.
What?
Yeah, the Cubs
cooled
beat
them
them
off.
in a doubleheader yesterday, both games of a doubleheader, and then one again today. But Milwaukee's playing really good baseball and has the best record of the National League, and so
I think the best record in baseball.
In baseball, okay, I wasn't given enough credit, I guess, but
I'm checking. I'm double checking. Yeah, the best record in baseball.
Best record in baseball. So we get to play the Milwaukee Brewers after this Padres game. So it's gonna be a rough one, man. On Sunday, who knows what version of Matthew you're gonna get.
Well, that's all, but that is Willie Adamas's homecoming.
It is. All right, we'll talk about how Willie Adamas trashes Milwaukee Brewers fans all on Sunday.
I don't think he would do that.
Well, that's going to be the title of our podcast next week, though.
Okay. We're gonna do that. We're gonna say,
yeah, hey, if it works for SF Gate, man, why not?
Yeah.
Why
well,
not us?
I mean, they took a true quote and they twisted as far as they could without actually lying. We're not journalists though, so maybe I could just lie. When I write the headline, if I put a little, maybe if I put a little asterisk on there,
put a little asterisk and then tiny writing below.
I'll put a paren after a semicolon, which everybody knows is the universal sign for wink, wink. Have you heard of these things called emojis, Matthew?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. Been known to use them a couple times.
Yeah. I think it's pretty fun. You take punctuation and you make it look like a face. Usually it's sideways. Yeah,
Yes.
usually it's sideways. And you got to turn your head and kind of squint, and then it looks a little bit like a face. You know what? I had a great idea, though. I thought,
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
Hey, hang on, Bob. I've got a great idea. We should.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
We should have special keyboards that actually put little faces instead of us having to use punctuation marks.
Oh, you should get on that. You should get on that idea. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right, Bob. Yes, it's time for the booze.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail called Snoopy. And you might wonder what Snoopy is all about. Well, it is named after the cartoon character, and it's from the 1970s.
Oof.
How do you know that it's from the 1970s? It has Galiano in it. So it's got 3/4 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 ounces of Grand Marnier, a 1/2 ounce of said Galiano, a 1/2 ounce of Aperol, but we'll come back to that in a second, and a 1/4 ounce of lemon juice. And you put those all into a cocktail shaker with ice, give it a good shake, strain it into a rocks glass with a large ice cube, and you're going to garnish it with an orange peel. Folks, this is a very sweet cocktail. And I'm going to read a review, our latest review on Apple Podcasts, and he actually mentions how our cocktails are too sweet for him. And I would agree, because that's just our palate.
We warn about that every time.
We do. It is. It's a fair criticism, because we don't do
agree.
a lot of dry cocktails. But this one is too sweet. It's too sweet. And so then I did a little digging, and there was some other websites, I think like Difford's Guide and all that, said you should swap out the Aperol for Campari. Oh. And I never thought that I would say that's a good idea when it comes to using Campari. But in this case, I would go with that.
Yeah.
It will cut into that sweetness. If you let the ice dilute it a little bit, it actually tastes a little orange creamsicle-y. Which is kind of an interesting taste. So, it's not for everyone. I'm glad I tried it. I probably won't make it again. But that's what I'm drinking. The Snoopy.
That's a tasty cocktail.
Bob likes it.
I don't. This is ever since we changed how Bob talks, people. And ever since Bob changed how Bob talks, suddenly Bob has become very pro-Matthew. So anyway, I will say this. We once presented a cocktail on the show called the Golden Cadillac, which is a quote-unquote classic cocktail from the 80s. It is the cocktail that made Galiano famous, and it was a huge cocktail in the 80s, and it, too, was incredibly sweet. It was Galiano, creme de cacao, and heavy cream.
Oh, I remember that.
It was like a meal.
Yeah.
This is a meal. It was a dessert. It was a meal, but it was a dessert meal. But anyway, that's not what I'm drinking today.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, thank you for asking, Bob. That is very kind of you. What I am drinking, Bob, is a rattlesnake. And what is in a rattlesnake? Well, a rattlesnake, I don't know that I would call it a classic cocktail, but it is a known cocktail. I've been feeling a little uninspired in my cocktail recipes, so I've been trying to try out a bunch of cocktails that are established, using my spirit of choice for that day, and I have been on a rye kick, and so this is my second rye cocktail in a row. And so the rattlesnake calls for 2 ounces of rye whiskey, 3/4 of an ounce to 1 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 of an ounce to 1 ounce simple syrup, a whole egg white, and half a teaspoon of absinthe for a rinse. To make it, you put all of the ingredients except the absinthe into a shaker with no ice. You do a dry shake, so shake that guy for like 20 seconds to emulsify the egg. Then you open that up, you add in your ice, and you shake it again. Now, I have seen some recipes who recommend that you do it the other way. It's a little bit more labor intensive because you got to strain it and then put it back into the shaker. But I do find that it's less likely that your shaker will leak that way. Anyway, after you have done all of that, you will add the absinthe to a coupe glass. quickly swirl that around your coupe glass or your martini glass, dump out what remains, and then pour in your cocktail, double strain in your cocktail, and you get a nice frothy and foamy cocktail. And this one's really good. I really enjoyed the combo of the whiskey and the absinthe. Basically, this is a fancy whiskey sour with absinthe. And the absinthe really does change this cocktail quite significantly, and I think makes it quite different. So I really liked it. And that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. The Rattlesnake.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It was pretty tasty. It was. And that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us. We will be back on Monday, no matter what happens in that Brewers series. We're going to be talking about Willie Adames. We're going to be talking about what a good baseball team looks like. And we'll be talking about those stupid Brewers. But if you can't wait that long to get your fix, feel free to find us out there on the social media land, where you can find us at the username Giant Cocktails. If you can't find Giant Cocktails, it means we're not there. And that includes, but one of the places where you can find us is definitely YouTube. So run over there to like, subscribe, and comment. You can also comment on Spotify. But most importantly, be sure to give us a positive rating at your podcasting platform of choice, such as Apple Podcasts or Heliotify.
On that note, Ben, before we say goodbye, we did get a 5-star positive review recently on Apple Podcasts. It was from Plasticos. Plasticos? 5-star, title, great listen. And he says, they say always entertaining. The cocktails run a bit sweet for my taste, but they are a perfect balance for yet another bittersweet giant season of homeostasis.
Whoa.
And then he ends it with, hit it, Bob.
Nice.
That is a great review. Thank you for leaving that. It entertained me when I read it. A true Giant Cocktails fan of you referencing the Hit It, Bob and homeostasis. So thank you very much.
What I heard is that our cocktails need to be sweeter for the rest of the season. So Plasticos, I got you covered, baby. The more sugar, the better. It's coming. Matthew, it was great talking Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Ben. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye! Against us.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
All right, just so you know, I'm a people pleaser, so I'm definitely going to go dry, like cocktails for the next couple.
Oh, because of Plasticos? You're just gonna go all dry cocktails because Plasticos.
Yes, I mean have we done a martini? I don't think so.
I think. Well, we could look in the catalog, of course.
Yes, we could.
I mean, okay. Look, if you're gonna go to martini, Matthew, what ratio are you gonna go with? We really have to break this down.
I have no idea because I haven't made one in years, but I will figure it out before the next
Have you ever
episode.
made one?
I've made one or two.
Really?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
I mean, I didn't like it.
Okay, now I believe you.